The day peace died. For a long time, Earth was quiet. Humans had chosen peace. After many wars and centuries of pain, Earth finally said, no more. They did not join the Galactic Council. They did not pick sides in any wars. They only traded, helped others when asked, and stayed far from the noise of power and conflict. Everyone in the galaxy called Earth the silent planet. But on that day, the silence broke. It began with a strange signal from Jupiter's orbit. One of Earth's deep space mining stations had stopped sending updates. At first, the ground teams thought it was a normal blackout. That happened sometimes in deep space. But then a rescue drone went to check, and what it found changed everything. The mining station was gone. Not destroyed, gone. The structure had vanished. No metal, no bodies, no black box. Just frozen silence. Only one escape pod returned. It landed on Earth at night. The rescue teams gathered as the hatch opened slowly. A single man was inside, covered in burns, coughing, eyes wide with fear. He could not speak, but he had a recording chip clenched in his hand. They played it immediately. It showed a dark shape appearing from nowhere, a Varnoke battleship, covered in spikes and green flame. It opened fire without warning. Lasers cut through the station, like it was made of paper. People screamed. Then the screen went black. That was the last message from Jupiter. Panic spread. Earth's leaders held an emergency meeting in Geneva. The peace doctrine was clear. Earth could not attack unless first confirmed by 3 trusted sources. Some leaders argued it might be pirates or a malfunction. But then Mars sent a distress signal. A civilian colony on Mars's surface was under attack. Fires burned across the domes. People begged for help. Families cried as the air thinned. This time, the attackers weren't hiding. Varnic ships flew directly over the colony. The enemy wasn't just probing. They were making a move. The peace doctrine shattered. In a secure military base below the Atlantic Ocean, Commander Rain watched the Mars feed with clenched fists. He had warned the Council for years that neutrality was not protection. It was a sleeping position. And now Earth was waking up too late. They thought we wouldn't fight back. Rain said quietly. His second-in-command nodded. What now, sir? Rain stood and walked toward the silent wall. Behind it were doors locked for 2 centuries. No one had opened them. Not since the last human war. Rain placed his hand on the scanner. The wall slid open, revealing a long hallway with black armor, sealed weapons, and one word glowing red above the entrance. Defense is not silence. Rain spoke without turning around. Wake up, Command Fleet 0. It's time. Meanwhile, around the planet, fear turned to fury. People gathered across cities watching the news. Peaceful Mars colonies burned. Innocent lives lost. Earth's peace broken like glass. But no one begged for safety. They demanded justice. Back in Geneva, world leaders finally gave the order. Defend Earth. Strike back only if necessary. But protect our people. Rain's voice came over every military channel, calm and cold. They struck first. Earth did not want war, but we do not run. We do not forget. And we never stay silent after blood has been spilled. The skies above Earth lit up with quiet power. Black ships, old but hidden for centuries, began to rise. From secret hangars under oceans, deserts, and icy mountains. These were not new warships. They were war relics, silent, deadly, and fast. Peace had kept them sleeping. Now rage brought them back. People around the world watched as the first Terran fleet in 200 years rose into the sky silent, without anthem or music. Just purpose. Aliens watching from distant telescopes whispered in fear, Earth has awakened. And far away, the Varnic Empire celebrated their easy victory over a peaceful planet. They had no idea what was coming next. Because on that day, peace didn't just die. It was buried beneath a rising storm. Asterisk. Message to the stars. The fires on Mars had not stopped, even as Earth's fleet rose into orbit. The Martian colony's final beacon blinked one last time, then vanished. 500,000 voices gone. The leaders of Earth watched in stunned silence. Some cried quietly. Others stared at the screen in disbelief. But one voice broke through the stillness. It was Commander Rain. No more waiting, no more talking, but one last message. For the galaxy. Earth had always believed in communication first. War had never been the answer. But now, with the blood of innocents spilled, they would send a message not of fear, but of clarity. From the orbital defense station above Earth, a powerful signal was sent in all known frequencies, translated into 400 alien dialects. The message was short. This is Earth. We chose peace. We offered trade. We stayed out of your wars. But now, one of you has spilled our blood. We do not want war, but we will not run. Whoever attacked our colonies, we are coming. The message echoed across the stars. Some alien species trembled. Others turned their eyes away, remembering stories of old when Earth once burned through 3 armadas in one day during the forgotten conflict. In the shadows of the stars, the Varnok Empire watched the message. Their leader, General Trask, laughed. Empty words from a soft world, he said. Send another wave. Finish the job. But Earth wasn't done talking, because Rain's second message wasn't public. It was a direct signal to the Varnok command. Channel hacked through centuries-old backdoors, built into the communication grid by forgotten Terran cyber warriors. It read, You opened the door. Now try closing it before the fire walks through. And then Earth went quiet, but its war machines did not. Commander Rain's fleet had launched into deep space using stealth drives hidden for decades. The ships were dark, quiet, and nearly invisible to scanners. Their engines made no sound. They had one target, a Varnok outpost near Alpha Centauri. This base was known for processing slaves, stolen tech, and fuel supplies for the Varnok war engine. It was heavily guarded, but not expecting a visit from the silent planet. Rain's team of 42 ships approached at light curve speed, hiding in the radiation belt of a nearby star. Once close enough, they deployed ghost drones, small, fast, and deadly. Inside the base. Alarms rang too late. The first explosion hit the central tower. A second destroyed the shield generator. The third? It came from within. A rescued prisoner had planted it himself. The base collapsed before the Varnok could even react. Hundreds of prisoners, many from species long forgotten, escaped through human dropships. One of them, an old alien woman with crystal skin, looked at Rain and whispered, You're human. I thought your kind vanished. Rain helped her onto the ship. We chose silence, he said, not absence. As the fleet returned, news of the Varnok base's destruction spread fast. Species who once mocked Earth now whispered. The humans didn't just respond. They struck where it hurt. Meanwhile, back on Earth, scientists reactivated Project Titanfall. Hidden deep under Antarctica was a warship unlike any other. One so large it needed the planet's magnetic fields to stay dormant. Its name, TNS Horizon, a Titan-class warship. Earth's last built dreadnought that had never seen battle. Until now. The Horizon's AI flickered awake as human engineers walked inside after 200 years. Its voice, calm and almost sad, echoed through the hall. Is peace over? The chief engineer, a woman named Isla, touched the cold wall and replied, It was taken from us. Outside, Earth's citizens watched the black ship rise slowly from the ice, like a forgotten god waking from slumber. It broke through the snow, engines humming like a quiet storm. Alien satellites picked up its signature and panicked. Messages flooded galactic forums. The humans have unleashed something. Earth has a titan. Run. But the Varnock still laughed. They had thousands of ships. Earth had just one titan. And a small fleet. To them, it wasn't a fair fight. And they were right. It wasn't fair. It wasn't meant to be. Because Earth's rage had no limit once awakened. And the stars were just beginning to understand what it meant when the silent planet spoke back. Asterisk. Peacekeepers no more. The galaxy had always seen Earth as calm. Polite. Helpful. Even humans had sent doctors to war-torn worlds. They had built hospitals on planets ruined by greed. They had shared food, water, and technology with races that had nothing left. But now, after Mars burned and the Jupiter station vanished, the humans stopped helping. They started preparing. In the military hangars of Earth's dark fleet, engineers worked night and day. Old ships were cleaned and polished. Weapons were reinstalled. Dusty data cores filled with tactical war programs were reactivated after centuries. And for the first time in over 200 years, a name was spoken with both fear and respect. Commander. Reign of Earth's silent command. Rain had never seen a real war. He was born in peace, raised in peace, trained for a war that never came. But deep inside him, he always knew something others forgot. Peace is a gift, not a guarantee. Now he stood aboard the flagship Vigilant, staring into deep space. Around him, holograms showed battle maps, enemy ship movements, and new requests for aid from alien worlds. One request caught his attention. A small moon near the border of Varnock space had sent a weak signal. A group of peaceful farmers had taken in survivors from a Varnock raid. Now they feared they were next. Rain turned to his fleet officer. "How many ships can we spare?" The officer replied, "If we send 5, we can protect them. But if we send 10, we can teach the Varnock a lesson." Rain didn't blink. Send 10. No mercy. Across the stars, the Varnock were confused. This wasn't how humans were supposed to react. Their leaders mocked Earth's actions. "They're soft," General Trask said again. "They act brave, but they won't last." But Varnock soldiers didn't laugh. They had seen what happened to Outpost 7. They had seen humans cut through defenses in silence, without music or speeches. No war chants, no loud threats, just cold action. Just results. At the edge of Varnock space, the 10 human ships arrived above the farming moon. The enemy was already there, 6 Varnock cruisers circling the moon like vultures. But they didn't expect Earth's new tactics. Human ships didn't charge in. They disappeared, vanished from sensors using old stealth tech the galaxy had forgotten about. Then came the soundless strikes, missiles that never beeped, lasers that left no light, precision cuts through the Varnock engines and weapon cores. Enemy never saw them coming. In less than 4 minutes, all 6 cruisers were gone, cut in half, and left drifting. The farmers on the moon watched from their fields. They had expected death. Instead, they saw black ships rise from the shadows and drift above their homes. And then, silence again. Only one human voice came through the comms. "You are safe. If they return, we return faster." Across the galaxy, whispers spread fast. Humans don't speak much anymore. They don't forgive. They're not peacekeepers now. They're something else. Meanwhile, back on Earth, an even older part of history woke up the archives. Deep below the Andes Mountains, the archives held knowledge from every human war. It contained forgotten tactics, lost technologies, and the last records of Earth's ancient enemies. A small team of cyber specialists was assigned to reactivate one of the oldest files, Operation Emberfall. It wasn't a battle plan. It was a psychological operation, how to break an empire without touching their core worlds. Used misinformation, panic, and shadow attacks. Rain received the file directly. and he smiled for the first time since Mars fell. "We'll fight," he whispered, "but we'll also haunt them." As Earth's retaliation spread, something unexpected happened. Messages began arriving from other alien races, ones that had also been attacked by the Varnok, but never dared fight back. A small bird-like species, called the Rinna, sent a single line of support. "We wish we had fought like you." Then a traitor species, the Borvik, offered cargo ships to help transport Earth's supplies to the front lines. And finally, a bold message from the insectoid warrior clans of Shar. "We are coming. Your war is now ours." Rain looked at the growing list of support and turned to his officers. "The galaxy thought we were weak, but they were wrong. We were just waiting. Now they'll see what happens when peacekeepers become warriors." Far away, in the dark halls of the Varnok throne world, Emperor Krell slammed his fists against his throne. He demanded answers. Why are humans fighting like this? They were never built for war. His advisor shook his head. "No, my emperor. They were built to survive." Asterisk. The sky burns. The sky above Earth had always been calm blue in the day, black at night, full of stars and peace. But that changed the moment the Varnok fleet arrived. Thousands of ships dark, burning, and hungry dropped from warp space above Earth's orbit. They came without warning. They brought no message, no reason, no pause. They only came to destroy. Across the planet, sirens screamed. Children in schools were taken underground. Ships lifted from oceans. Orbital stations charged their shields. The moon turned red from the glow of fire above. Commander Rain stood on the bridge of the Vigilant, high above Earth, his eyes fixed on the screens. The enemy had come to finish what they started, but Earth was ready now. "We hold the line," Rain said coldly. "We don't let a single one through." The human fleet activated in silence. Earth ships didn't form a wall. They spread out, disappeared into the darkness of orbit, and moved like ghosts. Every enemy ship that entered their range was tagged with a red ... and then the battle began. Laser blasts lit the sky. Human fighters weaved between cruisers, dropping magnetic bombs that stuck like glue and exploded inside engines. Varnok dreadnoughts tried to lock on, but Earth's stealth systems made them blind. Still, the enemy kept coming. Rain's fleet fought hard, but they were outnumbered. More Varnok ships came in waves, huge carriers, missile barges, storm class, destroyers. One by one, they aimed for Earth's surface. Then, something ancient moved beneath the ice. Deep under Antarctica, the Titan-class warship Ensa Horizon woke up fully. Its eye core burned bright. Its engines, sleeping for centuries, now roared like the heart of a volcano. Its hull cracked through ice and mountain as it rose into the sky. People across the world looked up and gasped. A ship bigger than any city, shaped like a spear made of black steel and fire, climbed out of the Earth itself. The snow around it turned to steam. The clouds split as it broke through the atmosphere. The Titan didn't speak. It screamed. A wave of sound hit the Varnok fleet. Not a voice, not a message, a war signal. A noise that shook enemy ships, shattered sensors, and caused pilots to clutch their heads in panic. Rain's voice followed it. "To those who thought Earth forgot how to fight, remember this moment. You will not pass." The Horizon locked onto the largest Varnok carrier. Its main cannon, a relic weapon called the Solar Lance, powered up. Light bent around it. Energy cracked through space like thunder. Then it fired. A single beam, bright, straight, silent. It cut through the enemy carrier in less than a second. The ship didn't explode. It simply vanished, atomized into dust. The Varnok fleet hesitated. That was their second mistake. The first was ever coming to Earth. Now, Earth was no longer defending. It was hunting Dot as the horizon moved through orbit. Like a black god of war, human ships followed in its shadow. Together, they sliced through Varnock formations, turned dreadnoughts into drifting wrecks, and pushed the enemy back from Earth's skies. But it wasn't over. A massive Varnock flagship dropped out of warp above Earth's moon. It was larger than anything seen before, shaped like a burning claw, with thousands of weapons glowing along its surface. The human fleet paused. Even the AI of the horizon analyzed it carefully. Then came a voice. Varnock General Trask broadcasting directly to Earth. Your Titan is impressive, but even your silence has limits. We built this ship to end planets. Your peace dies. Today. Rain didn't answer. Instead, he walked to the Horizon's command core and placed his hand on the main console. Full power. Lock on. Let's show them Earth didn't forget war. We just waited for a reason. The final clash began. The Horizon charged straight at the Varnock. Super Dash flagship. The sky turned red. The moon cracked under stray fire. Thousands of ships danced between beams of energy and clouds of burning metal. Earth's defenders pushed forward not because they had to, but because they refused to kneel. And as the battle reached its peak, aliens watching from far-off galaxies realized something terrifying. Humans were no longer defending themselves. They were teaching a lesson. Asterisk. The Titan speaks. The sky was fire. The moon had turned into a war zone. Pieces of rock floated in orbit, glowing red. Human ships fought alongside alien allies. And in the center of it all, the horizon moved like a giant shadow through the stars. It had been quiet for over 200 years. Now, it spoke. Its voice came not in words, but in action. The Varnock superflagship loomed ahead twice the size of the horizon, covered in energy cannons and shaped like a monstrous claw. Every race in the galaxy believed that ship was unstoppable, but Earth had a different belief. If it breathes, it can bleed. On the bridge of the horizon, Commander Rain stood in silence. The AI beside him flickered into form, a glowing figure made of light and code. Its name was Sira, the Titan's original combat intelligence. Target locked, Sira said calmly. Their command core is exposed near the lower spine. Recommend precision strike. Rain nodded. No speeches, no mercy. Sira tilted her head. Do you want me to speak to the galaxy? Rain glanced out the massive view window. The enemy flagship was charging weapons. Let the Titan speak. Across the stars, screens came alive. All communications channels, military, civilian, diplomatic, were hijacked by Earth's signal. Every planet, every empire, every distant outpost watched in silence as a new feed took over. It showed the horizon hovering near Earth's broken moon. And then it fired. The solar lance lit up once more. Not a laser, not a missile. Something deeper. It bent space, pulling the light of nearby stars toward it. Like a black hole forming inside a cannon. One shot. It sliced through the Varnock supership straight down the middle. For one long second, nothing happened. Then the enemy flagship split, open cleanly like a cracked shell. Its core exploded in silence. The shockwave sent broken parts flying into the void. The most powerful Varnock ship was gone, just like that. And then the Titan spoke. Its voice echoed across every channel. We were silent because we wanted peace. You thought we were weak because we didn't answer violence with violence. But now we speak in fire. Panic spread through Varnock-controlled space. Their commanders began recalling fleets. Colonies shut down communications. High leaders demanded answers. But there was no answer for what they had just seen. Earth, the silent, neutral world, had become something terrifying. It wasn't just the weapons. It was the precision, the control, the cold, calculated response. General Trask, watching from a deep bunker far from the battlefield, slammed his fist against the console. How are they doing this? They weren't supposed to be warriors. His advisor's voice was trembling. They were always warriors. They just forgot for a while. Back on the horizon, Rain sat in silence. His crew watched him carefully. The bridge lights were dim. Outside the window, the pieces of the enemy ship floated away, glowing like dying stars. "We pursue?" his officer asked. Rain shook his head. "Not yet. Let them feel fear. Let them remember this." Then he turned to Syrah. "Send the second message." She nodded. The second message was not for the VRNOK, it was for everyone else. To the small planets hiding in fear. To the species who had suffered in silence. To the allies who are afraid to speak up. Earth is awake. We are not here to conquer. We are not here to rule. We are here to defend those who cannot defend themselves. If you seek peace, stand beside us. If you bring war, we will show you how humans end it. The message reached billions, and the response came quickly. Alien ships began to leave orbit from peaceful worlds heading toward Earth. Volunteers, fighters, traders, healers, not because Earth asked for help, but because Earth showed it was worth standing with. That night, across the world, humans didn't celebrate. They didn't throw parades. They simply stared at the stars, knowing the silence was over. But something else had changed too. Earth was no longer just defending itself. Now, Earth was leading, and the galaxy was watching, because the Titan had spoken, and the stars were listening. Strike of the silent planet. The galaxy didn't sleep that night. Across thousands of systems, the destruction of the Varnuk flagship replayed again and again. On every screen, in every corner. Even the planets untouched by war felt it. Earth had changed everything. But what came next was even more terrifying. Because Earth didn't invade. It calculated. 3 days after the battle over the moon, Adea, Varnok weapons facility on the planet Narok 4, exploded from within. No ships were seen. No warning was given. Just 1 second of peace, then a tower of fire. A day later, an illegal Varnok slave camp on Rizzer Station shut down. All prisoners vanished. Guards found unconscious. Cameras showed only shadows moving. Too fast for sensors to lock on. Then, a fleet of Varnok destroyers, parked near Denrock Pass, were found. Floating systems fried. Weapons cold, no signs of battle. Each ship had one message carved into the hull in human language. We were quiet. You chose this. Commander Rain didn't order invasions. He ordered strikes. Precision hits, fast insertions. No destruction of cities. No harm to civilians. Only targets tied to war, pain, or slavery. The goal was not to burn the empire. It was to slice it apart, piece by piece. Inside the Varnok High Command, panic became fear. Emperor Krell called a secret meeting. This cannot continue. Our people are losing faith. His council argued. They're just humans. They're not gods. Then why do they disappear like smoke and strike like thunder? They have help. Unsure of it. And they were right, because Earth was no longer alone. In a quiet system near the galactic rim, a fleet of insectoid warships waited in the dark. The warrior race Shar, long oppressed by the Varnok, now joined humanity's call. One of their commanders, tall and armored in gold, addressed her soldiers. Humans fight like we dream. Clean, sharp, without cruelty. We do not follow them. We fight beside them. From the trade planet Golem Prime, the Borvek Merchant Guild sent transports to support Earth's fleet. They loaded fuel, supplies, and even tech humans had never seen before. And in the deep mountains of Erelon, a quiet bird-like species, the Rina, began transmitting ancient Varnok weaknesses' secrets, gathered from decades of silent suffering. Hatong. Galaxy had waited too long for a leader. Now they had one. Back on Earth, Commander Rain stood on the bridge of the Vigilant, watching a map of the galaxy change. Red zones shrank. Blue and green markers spread, representing allies. Resistance cells, supply corridors. 3 systems flipped sides this week, said his officer. Rain nodded slowly. Not enough. We don't need them to flip. We need them to believe. His voice remained calm, but his eyes were tired. He wasn't fighting for glory. He was fighting because Earth had no other choice, and because no one else would. But then came a new message. A deep space probe captured something strange. A Varnok world killer, a ship not used in over 1,000 years, had entered real space. Long, black, shaped like a blade. No windows. No lights. Its name, the Silence Eater. The Varnok had built it during an ancient war. It was a weapon of desperation. And now they aimed it at Earth. Not to fight. To erase. Rain stared at the footage. No crew, no pilots. Just a machine with one goal: wipe out all sound, light, and life from any world it touched. His second in command, voice shaking, whispered, "They're done playing." Rain looked out at the stars and said, "So are we." Within hours, the call was sent. To every ally, to every fleet, to every corner of the stars. The Varnok are sending their final weapon. We will not run. We will not hide. We strike first. Across the galaxy, Earth's all eyes rose. The Shar prepped their ships. The Borvik loaded their engines. The Rinna prayed in silence and consent. Blessings to Earth. And the horizon the Titan charged, its core for full warp. Earth wasn't going to defend anymore. Earth was going to end it. Earth does not kneel. The stars were quiet. Too quiet. Far out beyond the edge of known space, the Silence Eater drifted toward Earth. It was not fast. It didn't need to be. It carried a weapon designed to erase entire worlds, not with fire, but with nothingness. It didn't shoot. It simply landed and erased. Everything. The Varnok Empire had built it in secret long ago and had sworn never to use it. But now, in desperation, they aimed it at the one planet that had turned the galaxy against them. Earth. Commander Rain stood aboard the horizon. The Titan's engines roared, ready for war. Alien fleets surrounded it. Shar warriors, Borvik traders, Rinna scouts, and other species who had suffered in silence for years. They had followed Earth not because they were asked, but because they were inspired. The galaxy doesn't fear Earth anymore, Rain said quietly. It trusts us. But trust came with a price. Ahead, the Silence Eater cut through the void. Like a blade. No one had ever stopped it. Before. No one had ever survived its arrival. Rain turned to Sarah, the ship's AI. Options? Sarah's voice was calm. We cannot destroy it from the outside. The core must be detonated manually from inside. Rain didn't flinch. Then I'll go. Earth's fleet moved fast. The Silence Eater had no escort. The Varnok thought it didn't need protection. That was their mistake. Rain, wearing black zero-gravity armor, flew with a small strike team toward the hull. It was cold. It felt dead. But he knew. Something inside was watching. They breached the outer wall with a silent blast and entered the dark. Corridors. No lights. No sound. No resistance. Just humming, like a slow heartbeat. Rain whispered, "This ship is alive." They reached the core room. It pulsed like a star trapped in a cage. Around it floated hundreds of cables and gravity wells, impossible to understand. Clearly not Varnok design. One of the Shar soldiers scanned it. This isn't just a weapon. It's a machine that consumes reality. Rain placed the explosive near the control node, But just as he activated the timer, a voice echoed through the chamber. You cannot stop silence. Rain turned slowly. A tall figure stood near the wall metal skin, black eyes, wearing no suit. Not VARNOK, not human, something older. Who are you? Rain asked. The figure answered, I am the last builder. This machine ends wars. By ending. Voices. Rain stepped forward. You made a mistake sending it to Earth. The builder tilted his head. Earth will vanish. No fire. No screams. Just quiet. Rain smiled slowly. Earth never screams, but we always answer. He triggered the countdown. The room began to shake. The builder vanished, and Rain looked at his team, back to the ship. Now, outside, the horizon waited. The Titan hovered near the Silence Eater like a giant ready to strike. Suddenly, the human strike team's signal returned, except one. Rain was still inside. Sira spoke on all frequencies. Commander Rain stayed behind. The device is armed. Evacuate now. The alien fleets began to pull back. The Silence Eater trembled. Then, with no light, no sound, just a pulse, it vanished. The weapon was gone. And with it, Commander RAYN. Earth went silent. Not out of fear, not out of loss, but out of respect. Memorial was held in orbit. Every Allied ship stood still. Every fleet turned off weapons. And across the stars, the final message of Commander Rain played. We never asked for this war, but we ended it not with anger, but with purpose. Let this be the last time silence is forced upon the innocent. If you hear this message, know that Earth stands, always. The Varnuk Empire collapsed within weeks. Planets rose up. Slaves broke their chains. Armies refused to fight, without fear of Earth. There was no fear of anyone. Earth did not celebrate victory with banners or marches. They simply sent a single signal. To the galaxy, Earth does not kneel. And the galaxy finally understood. The silent planet had spoken, and no one would forget its voice again. Asterisk.